Right then, chat. So, after rather thorough psychological evaluation, I was given 3 diagnoses. Those with which being ADHD, autism, and schizoaffective bipolar type. And to be honest, that kind of shed light, and like obviously it probably doesn't change. Being diagnosed probably doesn't change much of really, my daily life, I would say. However, being diagnosed does actually shed some light and offer quite a bit of clarity on just behaviors and certain things that I felt for pretty much my entire life at this point. Like, I guess always just feeling kind of like, a square peg, round hole, or most are just feeling like everyone else I interacted with was just sort of part of this club that I never got an invite to. And just kind of just being out of the loop on a lot of stuff and not really knowing how to function in most settings, or especially in like social settings. It also explained how hard I've struggled with like employment, because in the past 6 years, I genuinely, seriously have had 16 different jobs, and I have never been employed at a single place for more than 4 months. And really what would end up usually happening was, kind of just like, well, I would either just like get fired from these jobs, or I would just get so burnt out from being there. And like, obviously it sounds lazy, but I would get so burnt out from being there, that I would just stop showing up, and I just could not take it anymore. But I mean, with this clarity has also come a bit of frustration, because like all my life people have just been saying, oh, get over yourself, you're lazy, you're too much in your own head, things like that, or like you're overreacting, just things like that. And they've just been calling me like lazy and stupid, and not really knowing. I didn't even know that I had like undiagnosed stuff going on. So how were they supposed to know? But even if I was diagnosed, I would still probably hear those things. So I guess not much really is different. But about being schizoaffective, this really explained a really bad lifelong habit of mine, of really just like, having a deep, deep longing, a craving even, for platonic and romantic type connections. Only then when like something like that finds its way into my life, my very first thought is like, damn, this sucks. And then that leads to me just trying to sabotage the entire situation, or even at worst, trying to like hurt these people involved to sort of, I guess, teach them that they should know better than getting involved with someone like me. And I guess that's just been like a lifelong struggle, really like difficult to deal with. Ugh. Right, so I had a low battery notification. I had to wrap this up quick, my phone's almost dead. But about pretty much the person giving these results, their main suggestion, their biggest number one suggestion, well, obviously their 2 main suggestions were, their number 1, they said medication, number 2, they said therapy, right? But their number 1 suggestion was medication. They said, if you don't take anything away from this, talk to the psychiatrist. But at the same time, every time I've ever been medicated, it felt a little something like,
please let go. If you tear those attachments, I won't be me anymore.
You won't be you anymore?
Right, then basically, like, I don't know, like, if people are just like, oh, let it adjust, let it settle in your system and adjust to it. But why would I want to adjust to a feeling that I hate? And not to mention, I've interacted with others who have like ADHD, and it seems that the treatment for ADHD is to give them amphetamines. And hell no, I don't want any of that, you know? I don't want to start acting like a dang 40-year-old businessman. What the hell? Like, that's ridiculous. Like, I don't know, I'm kind of just rambling at this point. But it just doesn't really seem like, I don't know. Because, like, not to mention, deep down in my heart of hearts, you know, I really don't even really want to be functioning, and I really can't really see much of future for myself or even really want to be better in my life, really. And I know that's probably something I need to work on too, is like actually, you know, wanting to want to live. And that's like a hard thing, because I have like, I'm living on borrowed time, and like I've tried to like not live anymore so many times. Or not so many times, but 2 different times. So I'm living in a timeline where I really shouldn't even exist. I'm on borrowed time. But it's such a comforting thought that life is but a fleeting dream. And it, like, we'll all be long gone before we really, really like understand much of anything. And that's sort of a comforting thought. But yeah, pretty much that has been my experience. And diagnosis brought a lot of clarity, but also frustration. Anyways, I don't know. This video didn't really have a clear direction, but I guess I'm diagnosed now. And maybe, hopefully, I can get some meat bugs and continue to bed rot.